Welcome to Choosing a Citation Manager. My name is Emma Fernandez. I'm a Research and Information Services Librarian here at Ellis. So today I'm just kind of going to go over what a citation manager is, what it's used for, and then the three different types that we provide support for at the library today. So I'll cover EndNote, Mendeley, and Zotero. So I'll kind of go over each of the components of the citation managers, and then I'll kind of run a small little demo through all of them for you. At any time, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I will answer them to the best of my ability. At the end of the slides, I also have links to specific library guides that we have on these citation managers, as well as the contact information for myself and the other librarians that support these citation managers. This is being recorded right now, obviously. This will also be sent to your guys' email, and it will also be posted a version on the Missouri Library's YouTube. So there's lots of places you can find this if you miss something or I'm a little bit confusing in what I'm saying. So just wanted to run through that with you. Go ahead and get started. So what is a citation manager? So basically, it's a software to compile and organize all of your sources in one place. So this is really important and really useful, I found, for students that are doing really big research projects, working on a group project, for example, a thesis, a dissertation. You can annotate and create notes on all your sources, which is super helpful. You can access your sources from different locations. So all of these citation managers have desktop versions as well as web versions. So if you're away from your home computer, you can get on the web and you can access these at any point. You can read and share PDFs on citation managers. You can import your references into Word, create citations and bibliographies. It's really just a huge catch-all to really help you organize and keep your research and documents all in one place. So you're not having to scour your laptop or other devices for those resources. So like I said, we're going to talk about EndNote, Mendeley, and Zotero today. So like I mentioned, all of these do roughly the same things, just in different ways. So while one may be good for someone else, another may be good for another person, it all really just comes down to what best serves your needs and what you're working on. So I'll touch on kind of the specifics of what makes each citation manager a little bit different when I go through them. But I just wanted to start out with kind of what they are overall. So like I said, EndNote, there's been some big changes with EndNote in the past few years because 2020 wasn't a big change enough for us. So we used to have the desktop version available for faculty and staff and students through our IT department for free. And unfortunately, we don't carry that anymore. As you can see on the screen, it's almost $100 to get the desktop version now. We do have some students that use this all the time that feel like it's necessary. But again, today I'm going to go through the web version we have, and it has a lot of the similar capabilities that the desktop does. You don't need to spend this much money on a citation manager. I always just like to point this out. It is a good source, but we just want to give the caveat that we don't support the desktop version anymore through the university. So why choose EndNote if it's the desktop version is almost $100 and it's a little on the pricey side? So like I said, the web version also has a lot of similar capabilities to the desktop just for free. So EndNote is really, really good for the STEM disciplines, specifically chemistry. What's really nice about EndNote that I'll show when I walk through the process is it has an extensive list of journal names and their abbreviations within the software, which is super helpful. It has the most format types, and what a format type is the kind of citation you're putting in or the kind of resource. So like a book or a journal article or a manuscript, things like that. The other two citation managers have format types, just not as many as EndNote. And so that's a really cool thing that EndNote has as well that the other two don't have the same amount of. Additionally, you can search right within the citation manager in PubMed or Web of Science or various other databases and library catalogs, which I find super cool. You don't have to have, your EndNote tab open and then your other Google tab open and all those kind of things. You can search directly within the EndNote web software and then transport those citations and PDFs all in the same system. So it's a big time saver for me. I really like that quality in EndNote. And then, like I said, the EndNote desktop version has unlimited storage, which is a perk for some people. However, the web version that is free through the website holds up to 50,000 sources. So still quite a large capability for holding storage and things like that. So I put together a little bit of a table just to kind of give you guys a little glimpse of kind of what the differences is. Like I said, the basic version, which I'm going to run through, it's free. You need to just Google EndNote, make an account. You don't need to use your university email. You can use any email that you want. Like I said, it has decent storage space. It does have the full library sharing and the database searching that the desktop version has, just to a lesser degree. And again, it has, integrated with Microsoft Word. The really big things are that EndNote doesn't, you can't annotate and highlight PDFs in EndNote, which is a bit frustrating, that you can do in the other citation managers. But again, like I said earlier, the citation managers, it's all about what you're using it for. If you want to use it to look in Web of Science, all these other databases right in the database, again, that's a really good tool. If you want to annotate and highlight, that'll be stuff I'll cover in Mendeley and Zotero. That's a really good tool. So, but again, it has the largest amount of format types for all the citation managers. That's really helpful. It's a really good quality. I think that's one of the biggest pros, like I said, of that. So again, this will all be posted. You don't have to write down all these numbers. This will be posted on our website. So I just wanted to I like to give those caveats about the differences between the desktop and the web version, because they differ just a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a little demo for you on EndNote. Reshare my screen here. Can everybody see my screen? Are we seeing EndNote pop up here? All good? Okay. So this is kind of what it's going to look like. I'm using my computer, so it's already auto logged me in. So we're all good there. Like I said earlier, you're just going to want to hit, just Google EndNote, and EndNote Web will pop up, and you can just create a login with any, like I said, any email you choose, a password, and then it'll look something like that. So right here in the middle, you'll see I already have some resources in here. You'll see that they have these blue paper clips here, means that I've already attached a PDF. So I have all the metadata here. We can click on one of these and look at it. So you'll see it gives me the reference type, the author, all of this information. I can access the PDF, things like that. So this is kind of what it looks like in the web version. And again, Mendeley and Zotero are going to look similarly. They're going to have the PDF attachments. They're going to have a similar looking metadata system as well. So, and then again, the big thing I mentioned is you can do online searches, like I said, within Web of Science or other databases. You can do that in this as well. You can have, I forgot to mention the groups, which is our really cool thing too. So like I said, working on a group project, something like that, you can have different groups so you can keep all your citations organized, things like that. So you can see I have a few groups already over here. So like I said, you can search within this database. Let's go ahead and run that through for us. So again, this is all within the EndNote web. So no, I'm not having to go out and open a new tab, perhaps go to Google or Google Scholar or anything like that. I can go through, they've added actually a lot more since the last time I've been in here, a lot of different databases or library catalogs. You can choose any one of these and search within it, and then add those citations and PDFs into your library. So for my demonstration, I like to use my my favorite Library of Congress. So I just go through and type that and then I connect, and then I'm able to search for whatever my project might be about, anything like that. So what's on my mind right now? Vaccines. So I'll go ahead and choose that real quick. Type that in. So you can see I have a whole list of different ones that pop up. So I can just scroll through and see which one looks interesting to me. I think this one looks interesting, the 2009 H1N1 influenza vaccine campaign. So I can click this one. I can go ahead up here, like I mentioned earlier, I can add it to a group, and then it'll also be added to my references as well. So I can go ahead and add it here. And then you'll see over here, you'll see the copied. You can see which ones you've already selected. So here I click this one. This one has a nice little check mark right here. So then I can go to this article. Go ahead and click on that. Now I'm on campus, so mine automatically, and I'm using a university laptop, so I was not prompted to log in to our library system. But if you're at home or on a different computer, it will prompt you to do that. I don't want you to be surprised if that pops up. But I'm using a university equipment, so I didn't have to do that. So here I'm able to see the article. You know, I can read through it, and then over here I can see the PDF. And then sometimes when you're importing citations, some of them are a little bit finicky sometimes. So sometimes it'll transport the whole citation and the PDF. And sometimes you'll have to go in and add the PDF yourself. So a little bit tedious, but you know, no software is perfect. So I always go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and download this so I can show you guys how easy it is to just drag it into that software. So I'll just call this vaccine H1N1, and then I'll save it. Then I'll go back to EndNote, and we'll see all my references. So you'll see it down here. It's already been added, and you'll see, like I mentioned earlier, if it has the blue paperclip, that means a PDF's been added. So for this one, this was a good example to use. So I can just go in here and add this PDF manually. So I'll just go ahead and click on this. And then attachments. And then I can attach the file that I downloaded and then have all that in there. So there I have the article is attached. I have all the metadata in there. So like I said, I just searched within the database, or sorry, within the software, because I find that to be a really cool feature of EndNote. Obviously, you can on our library's website for articles, you're obviously not prohibited to search just within this database. I just like to really point that out when I do this presentation because I think it's a really neat feature. And like I said, you know, I mentioned when I first downloaded it, I added to a group. So you can see these are in here. I can share this group with other people. So like I mentioned with a group project. So if I go up here and I manage my group, say I want to share it with my classmate who we're doing a project about vaccine hesitancy or something like that. I can go in here and I can do manage sharing. And then I can share it just with someone else. So I can share, we'll just use one of my other emails. And you can have them just read it, or you can have them read and edit the groups as well. So all you have to do is do that and then hit apply and it's all good. So those are kind of the major things that are within EndNote. I know that I went through that pretty quick, but that's some of the basic things that EndNote has that maybe differ a little bit from Zotero and Mendeley. So I will go ahead, go back to my slides. Okay. And start on Mendeley. Can everyone still see me okay? Okay. So Mendeley, like I stated, has a lot of the same key features that EndNote and Zotero do. So you can, again, what is very different from EndNote actually is Mendeley and Zotero have desktop versions that are also free. So that's what's helpful. You don't have to worry about purchasing any version for either of those. The other really big thing about Mendeley that I like to push is you can annotate and highlight your PDFs and create sticky notes within the software. That was the thing I mentioned that EndNote didn't have in the free web version. So that's really nice that Mendeley offers that resource. You can also create groups and share citations like you did with EndNote. However, with Mendeley, you can only have 3 people in a private group. And that's a little bit of a library political issue because Mendeley is owned by Elsevier. So they're a little bit nitpicky as a publisher about how much they want PDFs shared with other people. So you can also, which is really nice, which I'll illustrate, is this has a web importer, so a browser plugin. So you can quickly add citations to your library since it doesn't have the same capability of searching within like EndNote does. You can also search within their PDFs. It's really nice. It comes with a super easy to use PDF reader. So that's really nice. Another good quality about Mendeley is that they're consistently updating and improving the product. So they're always trying to make it better for their users. And another thing that's really important to mention is whether you're using the web version or the desktop version, they look almost identical. So it's a little less confusing if you're perhaps been used to using your desktop at home and then you're on campus using your laptop or something. It'll look about the same. So, and like I said, it's really easy to add all these notes, citations, things like that. So when I go over this, I'm going to go over the desktop version just because I have that on my laptop. But again, like I said, it's really easy and looks really similar to the web version as well. So I'll go ahead. Oh, I see I have a chat. Okay. Yes, everybody will get a copy of the recording after this is over. So just we'll do that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my. I want to go over a little bit of the pricing. I'm sorry, guys. Here we go. So like I said, this is the basic version of this is totally free. The desktop version of Mendeley is totally free. Now, if you want to buy Plus or Pro or Max, which essentially just has more storage space, you can do that too. But me and my colleague both have used Mendeley and have yet to run into any problems with storage. They have thousands and thousands in there and they have yet to run into a problem. So if you really want to purchase more, that's definitely doable. But like I said, I like to promote that this is a really good source because you don't, it's probably not going to be necessary for you to purchase more storage. And then, like I mentioned about the private groups, there can only be 3, but it has a lot of storage space as well, 100 megabytes of storage space where you can share PDFs in there. What I did want to mention was I already mentioned that you can annotate PDFs and within the software, but you can also collaboratively do it in a group. So you can both be reading the same PDF at the same time and make notes and see your group members' notes. So if you both saw something that you thought was interesting or you wanted to talk about, you can see those notes as well, which is a really cool feature. So that's really nice as well. So now I'll go ahead and pull out so I can show you guys Mendeley. Can everybody see that okay? So like I said, it'll look a little bit similar to EndNote. We have the resources or the references, excuse me, in the middle here. You'll have, the author, the title, it'll look about the same. For this, I know I noted the paperclip for EndNote. Over here, it'll look a little bit different. obviously for every citation manager. You can see the groups over here and the collections. And I do want to point out, this is a little bit confusing sometimes. Collections are really similar to private groups. They're about the same thing. They're where you can organize your citations and your resources, but they're pretty much almost identical in their usage. So that's really nice. Up here, what I think is another really cool feature, if you're, I only have a few references in here right now, but say I was doing like a really big project and I have hundreds and hundreds of references in here and I'm like, wait, what was the one I just read just now? I can't remember. I went to another one. You can go to recently read and it'll show you which ones that you've looked at recently. So I think that's really cool too. I like to point out. So the recently read tab is cool. I talked about the groups. Again, the auto syncing. So whatever I'm doing here, you can see this little sync right here. So I'm doing this in the desktop, like I said, but it's automatically uploading, doing whatever I'm doing in here, the web version is also going to see. So if I want to pull up the web version later on my iPad or something, it'll look exactly the same. So another thing that I think is cool is you can go, you can favorite sources, things like that. Like I said, I'll go to one of these and show you guys how to annotate. So if I go, this is what the metadata will look like in Mendeley. So here, I have the abstract, I have the file, I have all these different things in here. I haven't annotated this one yet, but I can go ahead and do that. So if I just click on the PDF, so I can go in here and you can change the color of the sticky notes that you want. You can highlight in different colors that you want and it'll all automatically save, which is super nice. So if I want to do a green sticky note right here, like this is really cool. And then if I've shared this with someone, they can see what I've put, or I can just write notes for myself if I want to go back and not forget something that I was thinking when I was reading this. Like I said, you can highlight, so you can do that as well, and it'll save in there. So that's really important. And then again, it'll save the annotations right here. So you can look at them this way, or you can click on them throughout the PDF. So I really like that feature of Mendeley. Oh, another big thing is that this also has, like I mentioned earlier, it has the web importer. So I'm going to just show how to import a PDF within Mendeley, but you also have the web importer. So if you're on, say, our library page, or you're on Google Scholar or something like that, you can just add it. Just go Google Chrome and then Chrome Web Importer or Firefox Web Importer for Mendeley. It'll show up and you can automatically import your sources that way. For this, it's really easy. You can add, adding a new resource you can do, like I mentioned earlier, from a computer. You can enter them manually if you want, different things like that. So for example, I have a PDF already on my computer that I was going to add. So I was just going to show you guys how to do that. So yesterday I found an article again about vaccine hesitancy. I can just go upload this from my computer. And then you'll see down here, it'll upload. And there it is. So I can go click on this and I'll have this information, the title, it'll automatically upload the PDF obviously, but how cool is that? I have a PDF I already want to upload and then it automatically fills the metadata for me. And I think that's really awesome. So that's kind of the bigger picture of Mendeley. Like I said, relatively easy to use. It has the annotations, the highlights. Those are a really big kick for me for this software. I can go ahead and show you guys the web importer. So over here, you'll see this is what the web importer looks like. So if you're ever on a page and you find an article or something like that, you can just click on there and it'll import some citations for you into your Mendeley. Now, Mendeley does have to be open for this to work. And then Zotero also has a web importer that I'm going to go over a little bit later when I talk about Zotero. But I also wanted to mention that web importer as well. So go ahead, go back to my slides here. Are there any questions so far? I know I'm kind of running through this, but okay. So Zotero is going to be pretty similar to Mendeley in a lot of ways. It's also open access like Mendeley is. You can purchase more storage if you would like. However, that doesn't seem to be a huge issue from what I've heard. It can get a little bit overwhelmed with PDFs, but I'll go into that a little bit later. This is really good from what I've heard. This is the application to use if you have a Mac. I'm a Windows user and I don't have any problems using this. I've just heard it's a little bit easier to use if you're a Mac Apple person. It works with Firefox, Chrome, and Safari. Again, it works with Word. It has the browser extension I was talking about. This is really recommended. I've read if you use Chicago style. I don't know a lot of people that use Chicago. I've used it a couple different times. But it has a really good feature to allow you to add footnotes and things like that that are really easy. One of the cons of this is, unlike Mendeley, it does not come with a PDF reader. So it'll use whatever PDF reader you have on your computer. It'll just open outside of Zotero. So go ahead and break into my demo. Oh, I see I have a chat. Oh, someone said they use Mendeley just fine on a Mac. There we go. Thank you. Can everyone see Zotero or no? Can we see it? Yeah, awesome. Okay. So again, this will be pretty similar again to what EndNote and Mendeley look like. You know, you have your source, your resources in the middle, you have your metadata over here, you have your, sorry about that. You have your subfolders, things like that. I do want to say that what a really cool thing is that you can, excuse me, let me find this. We have this little magic wand, we call it over here. And this is where, besides the regular version of, you know, importing with the importer through Google Chrome or something like that, it's really good for journals and web pages and newspapers and things like that. If you have a book, for example, that you want to upload or use in your research, if you just put in the ISBN or another identifier, it'll automatically put in all the rest of the information for you. I already did that with some of these books I have in here about baseball, which is really nice. So that's a really cool little tool that Mendeley and EndNote has. Another thing is, like I mentioned, the web importer is probably, I think, the best for this manager. It's really, really easy to use. So let's go ahead and open this. Can we also see my screen? Awesome. Okay, so say I'm looking for something about baseball. This is just our library homepage, by the way. I didn't want to confuse anyone. Say I'm just looking for baseball. Another big thing about Zotero is not only can you import things from the web, you can import multiple references at one time from one web page, which is really nice. So if you do a basic search and you're like, oh, I want to look at all these later, and there's like, you know, 10 or 11, you can easily save those into Zotero and look at them later. So let's do a simple search for baseball. It will take its sweet time. So you'll see up here, Mendeley, the web importer, will always look like this, which is really nice. The Zotero one will shift over time depending on what kind of page you're on. So if you're, now for this, I'm on, you know, a search engine through the University of Missouri, and I can save multiple articles or sources. So it's gonna look like a little manila folder up here. Now, if I was on, say, like a page, the New York Times, for example, it would look like a little newspaper. And then if I had opened a PDF, say from here, it would look like a little PDF up here. So it can be a little confusing. I think it's kind of cool to see how you can save them, and it'll look a little bit different. But, I have multiple records here. I have books, I have ebooks, some articles, and, I can just, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want all of these, or I want some of these. So I just go up here to the folder, and then I can pick which ones I want from here. I can select all of them if I want. As you can see, some of these were already in my references, but I can save whichever ones I want, and it'll automatically sync to my Zotero that's open, and it'll put them all in there. Now, the only drawback to this is that, and then I'll just hit OK, and then it'll be saving to my library. The only drawback for this is that the PDFs, you can see them all showing up here in the middle. The PDFs don't go automatically with these if it's an article or something like that. So that's kind of the caveat, is you'll have to upload those manually. Now for these, I have these other journal articles that I have saved previously. These already have the PDFs. So you can see this little blue kind of dot over here, and that'll tell me which ones have the PDFs. So I can go in there. Again, we have all the metadata over here. You can also manually edit that. So if you see something that's imported wrong, for example, or something in a foreign language or something that is a little bit confusing, you can go in here and edit it however you want. So I think that's really helpful too. So we have that over there. And then right here, like I said, we can open, here's the PDF, I can go through it. Like I said, it doesn't open in Zotero, but it does open in another tab. So let's see, like I said, with the storage, it can slow down the machine a little bit if you have too many PDFs in here, though I can't give you a specific number. I know that's kind of annoying, but again, as long as you're not putting like 37,000 in here a day, I don't think it should prove a problem or force you to buy more storage or anything like that. So, and as I mentioned, this was free, just as Mendeley was, and the basic version of EndNote. So that's kind of all I had about Zotero. Oh, I did want to open Word and do an import that way. Sorry. So Mendeley and Zotero specifically are really good about having the ability to input your references. Like if you're writing your paper and you're like, this is a really good paper, and you need to cite it and you don't want to have to do it yourself, you can input it through Mendeley or Zotero. So Zotero will have a specific tab on Word. You can add this to Word at the same time you download the web connector. You literally, when you log into Zotero and create an account, it will prompt you to do both of these things. So I've made this statement. We're saying, quoting somebody. I can add or edit a citation. So you can change different citation styles. So you have APA, Chicago, things like that. I use APA. So then it'll have you pick a source. So it'll open like this. So say you want to do that, and then it'll cite it for you. And you can also do that after you've done your couple citations. You can also do the exact same thing with your entire bibliography, which is really helpful. So that's how you do it in Zotero. Now, Mendeley will be under references. And again, you can download this Word document edition the same time that you download the web importer. It's really, really simple. With this, I can just type Mendeley, and you'll just click this button. And what's nice about Mendeley is it'll pop up with all your sources. So you can just go through and click which one or multiple. So you can input that and you can change the citation style. Again, I'll just use APA now. It's a really common, that's what I use. And then insert one citation. And the big thing is you want to click out of it, and then you can insert bibliography. And it'll be there. So that's another thing I wanted to mention too. Works with Word. I think that kind of covers everything I had. I will pull back up the slides so I can show you guys the additional info we have. So like I said, this is being recorded right now, will be sent to your emails. We also have, either this video or a very similar one I did with my colleagues that'll be on our Missouri Libraries YouTube channel that you can watch. I can go ahead and stick these two, stick these guides into the chat as well, so you guys can see those. We have one that has all this information about the comparisons, and then we have other guides that go way more in depth, just about EndNote, just about Mendeley, and just about Zotero. And then again, if you're interested in a consultation about any of these, you can contact me, or we also have the other 3 librarians that work closely with these softwares as well that would also be glad to help you, and their contact information is right there. So I'll go ahead and put these guides in the chat, and then I'll stop sharing my screen, and if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them to the best of my ability. So yeah. Okay. Can you edit the metadata in all 3 programs? Yes. Do annotations save for Zotero once you close the PDF viewer? That's a great question. I believe so. And then can you transfer the data from one program to another? Yes. For all of the citation managers, you can always at any time transfer. There should be in all of them. Let me pull up Mendeley. There's a really cool way you can do it in Mendeley. So if you go up to the top here, if you want to export, so you can export, if you see export on any of these, you can, for this one, you can send this to EndNote, and it'll export all your sources into EndNote. You can save them as well. But overall, it's a pretty simple process. You can, if you find one that doesn't work for you, you can switch to one of the other citation managers. And if you have any problems doing that, feel free to reach out to me. It can be a little clunky, but it is possible to do. So it's a good question. I forgot to mention that. Are there any other questions? I'm gonna put these links in the chat for you. Like I said, I know it's like a lot of information, so this is really overwhelming, but this is just kind of gonna give you kind of like a base. You guys can all try all of them and just see, like I said, what works best for all of you. So. Looks like I was direct messaging someone. I'm sorry. I'll put these in there. Technology is not my friend today. Here's the main guide that'll talk about the comparisons between all of them and give a little rundown for all of them. And then I'll attach the specific ones as well. And then with the first link that I sent in the chat, you can find this entire presentation in there as well with all this information that I just went over too. So those are all in there. And then my email, I can put in the chat here too. You can also find on the EndNote, Mendeley, and Zotero guides is also information about how to contact us. If you can't find it, for example, on the library guide, we have an awesome chat system here I like to push. We have Ask the Librarians. So at any time, if you have a question and you're just like, I'm using EndNote and it's freaking out and glitching, I don't know what's going on, or I went to this workshop and this crazy librarian just made no sense and I need to ask her a question about what she missed, then you can send that in the chat. And if myself or my colleagues that work on this are not online, someone will get that message to us and we can help you. So I like to pitch that as well because we just want to be reached at any possible turn. So are there any other questions anybody has right now? I know that was a lot, so. No problem. Thank you guys for coming. I'm glad this was helpful.